when you want to open a field, what I say about them, they open a field for healing to happen. So yes, yellow for all the digestive organs and gunpowder to detox. That's brilliant. You know, John Milnicek out of Palo Alto, once he told me this case, I didn't believe it. He was presenting a case of autism to the society, and he had a Chinese boy who was autistic, and he gave him yellow, and that was it, and it cleared up his autism. And I said, how's that possible? Like, how is that possible, John? He said, it's possible. I did it. It's possible. You know, you can't figure it all out yourself. You need other people to show you, to be witness to these new energies that they're not new. I mean, the Egyptians have healed, they healed with color and sunlight for 4,000 years. Nothing new about color or light, but it's new to me. And I guess I needed, and still do, always need evidence. Is this working or is it not? And if it, listen, we can give a standard homeopathic remedy and it won't do the trick. You know, we think we've got the answer and it doesn't work. Or we just try something because we've got an idea or we intuit that this might help a person, and miracles happen.
Can you tell me more about how you intuit? Because you've referenced moments where, you get a download to make color remedies, or muscle testing and pendulum testing works for you. And
It
that's
does.
really the crux of our podcast, is inspiring people to listen to that intuitive voice. So how did
Well,
you do that?
that's a good question. I think I've done it my whole life. I think I came to the pendulum. No, I came to muscle testing before I came to the pendulum. It, I was in Bullocks, Wiltshire on a holiday in America. I was living in Africa. And I came back to visit my family, and I was in Bullocks, Wiltshire, buying a present for somebody. And there was a gal behind the counter, and she was where there were crystals. And I said, oh, they're so beautiful. I didn't really know much about crystals, although I came from one of the most mineral wealthy countries in the world, in Africa. And she said, do you want to see how you can tell if it's good for you? And I said, how do you do that? She said, well, you hold it in your finger and then you do this thing and you pull it. I said, what is that? She said, it's called muscle testing. A sales girl from Bullocks, Wiltshire taught me that. So I was doing it on everything. And when I went back, I had a client who had MS, and she really wanted to heal. This was somebody who really wanted their life back. And she said, I want to learn what's good for me in terms of food. I said, well, let's try this muscle testing thing I learned in California. So she started muscle testing food. Can I eat tomatoes? No. Can I eat corn? No. Can I drink coffee? No. Can I have alcohol? No. Can I have meat? Yes. Can I have chicken? Yeah, it was incredible. And I saw that it worked. And I thought, well, if it can work on this and she's getting better, then it can work on other things. And then I went to England to start to study homeopathy. And one of the homeopaths had a pendulum, and he said, here, take it, try it. He's not with us anymore. He's on the other side. He was a really fascinating guy. So I started playing with this pendulum. I was like, and then they showed me water divining, with and water divining I had seen in Africa and I had seen it in Spain. I lived in Spain for many, many years, nearly 20 years. And the men, when they look for water in Spain, they're called frogs, la rana. They call them la rana, the frog. They have these willow branches and they're out there looking and they find it, and then they can tell how deep the water is. So I had seen it. And I'd also seen kind of the dark side in Africa. You had to be really careful with people giving you the wrong medicine or people giving you the wrong ideas. Those are the lands where there's a lot of curses and unwholesome things. So I didn't play with it till I got to England. And it was just natural. It was more natural than dare I say it, than thinking. When I finally met Ian Townsend, who became my clinical supervisor, he said, put your pendulum away, stop doing muscle testing, Ambika, and learn to think. And I thought, learn to think. Now, there's an idea. I remember thinking, I don't think I've ever had a cogent thought. I mean, really, I was so plugged in. I could read wallpaper. I could read somebody, and I'd been doing it my whole life and didn't really grasp that that was my nature. Then something happened that was really interesting. I think by the time this story happened, I was back in the States. I'd been out for 28 years, a full Saturn cycle. And I came back and I had sold a house. I had a little bit of money, and somebody said to me, you need to invest. I'd never invested in anything. She said, I know this really good broker, blah, blah, blah. So I took a little money I had and I put it in this, I gave it to this broker to invest. And one day I'm sitting at my desk writing, and I am so uncomfortable. I'm like ready to jump out of my skin. So I light a candle, I just start pulling in, and I said, what? And I heard, get the money out and get it out now. I thought, what? What? And I heard it again, get the money out and get it out now. So I called this man and I said, I need to get my money out. He said, what are you talking about? I've only had it for like 6, 7 weeks. I said, I need to get it out and I need to get it now. And he was angry. He didn't like that he had to do it, blah, blah, blah. And it was going to cost me this and she wanted it. But I said, I want it and I want it now. Thank you. By this time, it was about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. He wrote the check, put it in the mail. 4 o'clock, 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon, the whole stock market absolutely went tanked, and I would have lost everything. I mean, it wasn't a lot, but it was a lot to me. And that was a huge wake up call of like, yes, this is real. Sometimes you need those little kicks in the butt. Yes, this is real. Yes, this is a guiding force in your life. If you don't listen, you'll pay a price you'll be sorry for. You know, that's one way of learning when you've lost all your money or you've lost everything or you didn't pay attention, or you pay attention and you become more, I don't want to say developed. It's not quite right. More comfortable with trusting this amazing gift we've been given. And then I started meeting highly intuitive people. I met this beautiful woman named Luba Levin, who was a homeopath in the Boston area, who had come out of Russia. She was born in Russia. She was a concert pianist. Her teacher was Van Cliburn's teacher. She played for the Politburo. She lived in an apartment that housed a grand piano that was so big, everybody slept under the piano. She was amazing. And Luba taught me how difficult it was in those countries with dictators and people who could throw you in prison for thinking the wrong thought. She said, if you weren't psychic, if you weren't tuned in, you could die. She said, the way they were so psychic that if they turned the corner, they knew what was going to be on the other side of the street. And I did a workshop there. She organized a workshop, brought me to Boston, that was filled with about 30 Russian emigres. And they all started telling these stories about their intuition. They too were in education, a tremendous
I
education.
love that example because with all the chaos in the world and all the lies on media, we have to shut it down because
Yes,
there's no benefit or truth that's being filtered through there. And if the world is going to chaos, if we can learn to just quiet and shut down and go turn inward and tune into our God-given intuitive gift, then we can only benefit from it. And so I would love to hear from you. You've mentioned that you work with angels, or you say a prayer twice a day. These are
I say prayers all day long.
You say prayers all day
All
long.
day long, all
I
day long.
love that. Thank you. And
Yeah, all day.
um and but you're not necessarily religious. Like maybe, we don't necessarily talk about spirituality as much as we could in the healing arts, which is sad, but could you
Well,
on
yes,
that?
to me, it's hugely important, and it's become more and more important as I age. I do believe in the power of prayer, and I don't follow any particular religion, although I believe in all religions. Every religion is based in God. I do believe that. I do love ritual. That's the other thing. I love ritual and have always. I light incense, I light candles, I chant, you know, my next remedy is going to be the Om sign, and, just bringing that into a remedy form. I, well, I've never really talked about it. It's like talking about angels. I usually go like this, and I get very shy. And when the first book I did on angels, I I could hardly talk at all. I can talk about homeopathy, and I'm very comfortable. Angels are very private to me. The Christ is very private. Mother Mary is just a great goddess in my life. And I've seen wonderful healing that I don't think would have come if somebody hadn't really invoked the highest and the best for themselves. I recently saw a mother of my tech, who you're going to meet in Bali, who you're going to meet here when you come to visit. His mother had stage 4 cancer in her stomach. It metastasized to her spine, and then up into the nodes of the neck.